In a sun-drenched valley stood a sprawling ranch, home to the courageous daughters of the rancher, Clara and Lily. These two sisters were not only known for their skill on horseback but also for their incredible bravery. With the gentle clatter of hooves and the endless skies above them, they rode daily across the vast plains, earning respect from every ranch hand and cowboy in the area. Clara, the older sister, was strong-willed and had a natural talent for leading. Her wild chestnut hair flowed behind her as she galloped across the fields. She loved to take risks and often ventured farther than anyone else dared. Lily, while younger, was quick-witted and had a keen sense of strategy that complemented Clara's boldness. With her braided golden hair and bright blue eyes, she was always ready with a plan when trouble loomed. Their father often spoke of them with pride, telling stories of Clara and Lily's daring rides to round up wayward cattle or explore hidden trails. Little did they know that soon their courage would be tested in an even more profound way. The sisters shared an unbreakable bond, one that would soon lead them into an adventure filled with danger and excitement as dawn approached one fateful morning. As dawn broke over the ranch, a soft golden light spilled across the horizon, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange. The world was just waking up, wrapped in a peaceful stillness that seemed to hold its breath. Birds began to chirp their morning songs, and the faint rustle of leaves whispered secrets of the night that had passed. The ranch itself lay serene, with dew glistening on the grass like tiny diamonds. Clara and Lily stepped out onto the porch, feeling the cool breeze on their faces. The air was fresh and crisp, filled with the earthy scent of damp soil and grass. Cattle were slowly stirring in the nearby pasture, their low mooing harmonizing with the distant sound of a rooster's crow. As they looked out over the vast expanse of land, Clara could see the silhouettes of hills rising majestically in the distance. The sisters exchanged excited glances, knowing that this peaceful morning would soon turn into an adventure unlike any other. With hearts pounding and anticipation swirling in their minds, they prepared to ride off into the new day, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them beyond the horizon. As Clara and Lily prepared to ride, the townsfolk were whispering about the troubles that had recently befallen their community. A gang of outlaws had been terrorizing the area, riding in under the cover of darkness to steal cattle and cause chaos among the farmers. It wasn't just a few stray cows they had taken. Entire herds vanished overnight, leaving ranchers desperate and fearful. The outlaws were notorious for their ruthless tactics, and stories of their misdeeds spread like wildfire. Farmers spoke of how they had threatened families, brandishing weapons and demanding food or supplies. Each tale only added to the tension in the air, making it clear that something needed to be done before it was too late. As Clara and Lily listened to the worried voices around them, their hearts swelled with determination. They could not stand by while their neighbors suffered. The sisters exchanged glances, knowing they could use their riding skills to help put an end to this trouble. With a fiery sense of justice igniting within them, they vowed that they would take action against the outlaws, turning their excitement for adventure into a mission to protect their home and those they loved. Sitting on the porch, Clara and Lily reflected on their father's tales of bravery from when he was a young rancher. He often recounted how he and his friends had faced down outlaws, defending their land and families with grit and courage. Each story sparked a fire in the girls' hearts, filling them with a sense of purpose. "Dad always said we can't just wait for trouble to come to us," Clara said, her eyes shining with determination. "We have to stand up for what's right." Lily nodded, her mind racing with ideas. "What if we find out where the outlaws are hiding? We could gather information and warn the farmers." The thought electrified them. They exchanged a knowing look that spoke volumes about their shared desire to prove themselves. They couldn't sit idly by while the outlaws wreaked havoc on their friends and neighbors. With their riding skills and fearlessness, they knew they could make a difference. With hearts pounding, they made a pact. They would ride at first light to confront the outlaws and protect their home. The decision ignited a spirit of adventure in them that overshadowed any fear, transforming their excitement into a mission fueled by bravery and loyalty. With the sun still hidden behind the hills, Clara and Lily sprang into action, their hearts racing with anticipation. They dashed to the barn, their minds focused on what they would need for their daring mission. Clara quickly gathered ropes and a sturdy blanket, while Lily rummaged through their father's supplies for flares and some matches. "Let's not forget our water canteens," Lily called out, her excitement bubbling over. "We'll need to stay hydrated if we're riding far." The sisters worked seamlessly together, each knowing what the other needed without even having to ask. They secured everything tightly onto their saddles while discussing their plan of attack. "We should approach from the east to catch them off guard," Clara suggested, pointing toward the rising sun. "That way they won't see us coming." Lily nodded eagerly, adding, "And we can use the trees as cover until we get close enough." The sisters' determination was palpable as they finished packing. Once everything was in place, they took a moment to look at each other, a mix of nerves and excitement in their eyes. With a final glance back at the ranch, Clara and Lily mounted their horses, ready to ride into the unknown and confront the outlaws head-on. As Clara and Lily kicked their horses into a gallop, the thrill of the ride coursed through them like wildfire. The cool morning air whipped past their faces, filling their lungs with the fresh scent of grass and wildflowers. They raced along the dirt path that wound through the countryside, where the sun was just beginning to peek over the horizon, casting golden rays that illuminated the fields around them. With each pounding hoofbeat, a mix of excitement and fear bubbled within the sisters. Clara felt exhilarated, her heart racing not just from the speed, but from the anticipation of what lay ahead. Lily held tightly to the reins, her mind focused on their mission, yet she could hardly contain her eagerness. The world around them blurred with every stride they took. As they rode past tall grasses swaying in the gentle breeze, Clara shouted joyfully, "Can you feel it? We're making a difference." Lily smiled back, her blue eyes sparkling with determination. "We'll show those outlaws we aren't afraid." The rhythm of their horses' hooves on the ground spurred them onward as trees began to thin out ahead. They were drawing closer to the outlaws' camp, and with each passing moment, their resolve strengthened. This was their time to act, and nothing could hold them back. As Clara and Lily drew closer to the outlaws' camp, the lively sounds of crackling fire and low conversation filled the air. They maneuvered their horses between the tall bushes, carefully observing the scene before them. The camp was a chaotic mix of ruggedness and camaraderie, with several men lounging around a small fire, their weary faces illuminated by the flickering flames. The smell of smoke wafted through the air, mingling with the earthy scent of the surrounding woods. Nearby, horses were tied to makeshift posts, shifting restlessly as they sensed the tension in the atmosphere. Some outlaws leaned back, casually tossing cards while others shared stories of their latest conquests, boasting loudly about their misdeeds. Clara noticed a few men sharpening knives, their faces hardened with a sense of menace. The sight ignited a fierce determination within the sisters. They exchanged a glance, silently recognizing that this was not just a group of outlaws. They were a threat to everything they cherished. With her heart pounding in her chest, Clara whispered, "This is it. We can't turn back now." Lily nodded firmly, her resolve matching her sisters as they prepared to make their move against the camp that had brought so much fear to their community. With their hearts racing, Clara and Lily knew they needed to be careful. They dismounted their horses and crept toward the edge of the camp, moving stealthily through the underbrush. The rustling leaves around them were hushed, and each step was calculated as they scouted the area for any signs of weakness among the outlaws. The two sisters exchanged quick glances, signaling their readiness to act. Clara focused on the men at the fire, noting their numbers and the positions of their weapons. She could hear snippets of laughter and stories intermingling with the crackling flames, but beneath it all lay a tension that made her pulse quicken. Lily's sharp eyes scanned the perimeter, looking for anything they could use to their advantage. She spotted a pile of hay bales nearby, which could provide excellent cover when they made their move. "We can hide behind those bales," she whispered, pointing discreetly. Clara nodded, impressed with her sister's keen observation. As they prepared to execute their plan, a surge of bravery coursed through them. They felt united in purpose, knowing that this was their moment to strike. With one last deep breath, they steeled themselves for action, ready to surprise the outlaws before they even knew what hit them. The moment had come for Clara and Lily to act. They still had the element of surprise on their side as they moved behind the hay bales, carefully positioning themselves where they could remain unseen. Clara took out the flares they had brought, whispering her plan to Lily as they crouched low. With a steady hand, she struck a match and lit one of the flares, its bright flame illuminating their determined faces. "Let's aim for that pile of dry wood near the fire," Clara directed, pointing discreetly with her eyes. Lily nodded, gripping her own flare tightly. Together, they tossed the flares toward their target, watching as they landed amidst the tinder-dry kindling near the outlaws' fire. In an instant, flames leapt up, engulfing the wood and spreading quickly. Panic erupted in the camp as the outlaws scrambled to their feet, shouting in confusion as smoke filled the air. The once peaceful scene turned chaotic, men racing about as they sought buckets of water to douse the flames. Clara and Lily held their breath, heartbeats pounding in their ears as they observed from behind cover. The sheer shock of it all worked in their favor. Bewildered outlaws were now distracted and on high alert. This was their chance to evade detection and execute their next move against those who threatened their community. As the flames shot up, a wave of panic swept through the outlaw camp. The men, caught off guard and bewildered, jumped to their feet, their earlier bravado replaced by alarm. "What in the blazes?" one shouted, his voice laced with disbelief as he pointed at the fire consuming their supplies. "Get some water. Put it out." Chaos erupted as outlaws scrambled in all directions. Some knocked over crates while attempting to grab buckets, while others shouted orders that only added to the confusion. Smoke billowed into the air, thick and acrid, causing a few of them to cough and choke. Clara and Lily watched from their hiding spot, hearts racing at the sight of grown men losing their composure. "Over there. We need to stop it before it spreads," yelled another outlaw, dashing toward the fire with a bucket in tow. But just as quickly as he ran, an ember flew up and caught on a nearby tent, sending even more sparks into the air. The sisters exchanged glances, feeling the tension rise as they witnessed the chaos unfold. This was their moment to capitalize on the confusion. With the outlaws distracted and panicked, Clara and Lily knew they had to act swiftly to take advantage of the chaos they had created. Seizing the moment, Clara leaned closer to Lily and whispered urgently, "We have to move now. They're too distracted." The sisters quickly darted out from behind the hay bales, careful to stay low. They sprinted toward their horses, hearts pounding with adrenaline and fear. Just as they reached their mounts, Clara glanced back at the chaos unfolding in the camp. Flames flickered higher, and outlaws shouted in panic as they doused the fire with water, completely oblivious to the sisters' escape. "Let's go," she urged, hoisting herself onto her horse and helping Lily onto hers in one fluid motion. With a swift kick to their sides, the horses burst into motion, galloping away from the scene. The wind whipped through their hair, carrying away their fears with every stride. They rode hard, weaving through the familiar trails of the countryside that headed back to their ranch. As they raced over the rolling hills, laughter bubbled up between them despite the gravity of what had just transpired. Their hearts were light with victory and relief, knowing they had stood up against the outlaws. "We did it!" Lily exclaimed breathlessly. The sunrise painted a beautiful picture ahead of them as they returned home, emboldened by their daring adventure. As Clara and Lily rode triumphantly back to the ranch, the sun hung high in the sky, casting a warm glow over the land. Their hearts swelled with pride as they approached, knowing they had protected their community from the outlaws. When they finally reached home, their father and the townsfolk gathered to greet them, their faces beaming with admiration. "Clara! Lily!" their father called out, his voice filled with joy. "You did it! We heard about what happened at the camp." The sisters dismounted and were immediately enveloped in hugs and cheers from the grateful townspeople. Stories of their bravery spread quickly, each person eager to celebrate the young heroines who had taken a stand against the threat. As Clara and Lily shared their adventure, laughter echoed through the ranch, blending with the sounds of clinking glasses and joyous chatter. A feast was prepared in their honor, with pies cooling on windowsills and tables laden with fresh food. Underneath a clear blue sky, surrounded by family and friends, Clara and Lily felt an overwhelming sense of belonging. They knew that together they had not only faced danger but also strengthened their community spirit. With hearts full of happiness, they celebrated their victory, knowing this day would be remembered for years to come.